Hey guys, I am so excited to share this video with you. This is literally a miracle. I was able to resurrect my dead CD Walkman from 10 years ago. And I'm going to really quickly show you how I did it. I do need to say thank you to everyone in YouTube land for giving me the hints on this. So there's a bunch of videos out there that I saw when I thought about repairing this. And they all have this miracle solution. And you see in the comments, people are like, I did this and it worked. And what is it? So apparently, over time, these old CD Walkmans, it's been, 25, 30 years since a bunch of them have been made. And the laser, the light, there's a diode and it starts to get weak. And there's a potentiometer in these there's literally a screw, like a knob that you turn with a standard screwdriver, and it adjusts the current, the feed of power to the laser, and it literally comes back to life. And it works. I did it and it worked, and it's unbelievable. So I'm gonna show where that is for this unit. This is a CD Walkman. This is mine. It's an FM AM radio Walkman, which is like the coolest thing ever. This is a D-FJ61 model Sony Walkman, and it has G protection. This thing was dope. You could dude, being like a super 90s kid, you could rollerblade with this thing. You could actually ride a bike and it wouldn't skip. The G protection on this thing works. But so this I got in middle school, and it was the coolest thing ever. And I was able to get this in at the time. C players used to be expensive. This one came out kind of when just when MP3 players were like just the earliest ones. The MP3 players that could hold like 20 songs tops. Those were coming out, and Sony was launching its mini MD line right around that time. So the price of CD players finally came down so that like normal kids could have them. So I got one for my birthday. That's what this was. But then 10 years ago, I was super bummed because all of a sudden I would press play, and it has a radio. As you can see here, look, the radio works fine. But when I would press play, this would go 0, 0, and then it would try to start moving, and then it would start making a clicking sound and go click 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 click. And I was gonna throw it out, but I have such sentimental attachment to this, and I'll talk about that at the end of the video, kind of as a special thing. That something tugged back in my heart, and I couldn't throw it out. So I kept it in my bedroom at my parents' house for at least 10 years. And then today I saw it, and I was like, you know what? I've looked at so many YouTube videos that have helped me fix other things, and maybe there's something out there that could do this too. And that's when I stumbled upon a bunch of different videos, none of them for this particular CD player, but for larger CD players or other Sony ones or Iowa ones, different CD players of this same era, and they all seem to have the same solution, which was that there was a potentiometer of like a knob that you turn with a screwdriver, and like as a miracle, these things it just comes back to life. It actually is that simple, and ultimately that was the case for this one. Although I did 3 different videos of this before this one. And each time, and maybe I should talk to you as I do this. So before you start to do this, make sure you take whatever disc you're using out of it. In this particular CD player, there's only 3 screws, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, there's only 3. Which is really convenient if you have this particular CD player. This is going to be an easy repair for you, like really easy, because I'm showing you this video and telling you how to do it. So once you have those 3 out, getting this open is super easy. You just need a plastic wedge tool like this or something like it, and you just go along the edge here. Once the screws are out, like it's very easy to pop this open. Just be gentle, go slow with this. You can see how I'm going through, right? Go around, work around the knobs and stuff. So once you got it open, it's going to come open really easy. See, I'm just going slow, nice and gentle. Okay. So when you open it up, just go slow. By the way, you don't have to, one thing I was worried about or paranoid about before I started this was that this thing has a hood on it, right? And I was like, oh man, do I have to like take off the lid, right? But actually, the lid is connected to the top part of this plastic, and the top part of the plastic, at least in the case of the CD player, it just comes off completely as a unit. So when you open this, don't like just drop it though. Do remember that, and probably other CD players like this too, there is the ribbon here that's connecting the top. That's connecting, by the way, that's connecting this control panel up here to the circuit board. But I mean, luckily to do this, at least for this CD player, you don't have to remove the lid part of it. You don't have to separate it. So once this is open, it may look like a lot, but all you need, what we're going to be working at, this here, this black piece here, this is the CD reader unit. And one good thing to do is if you have a swab, get some rubbing alcohol just as you're going in here for good cleaning. Just dab the 100% alcohol, dab that gently to clean the surface of this, because if this is clouded, that can also be a detriment. That also might be a source of failure. Although ultimately, what's gonna do the trick here is, in this case, this isn't even bolted on here. This is resting on 3 pieces of plastic, so I can literally just lift this up. See, I'm gently lifting off. Now this is also connected by a ribbon onto the circuit board right here. So when you lift this up, you want to be super gentle. So I'm doing this just to show you. So you open it up here. Now I'm bringing this real close. You see where the ribbon is, where the ribbon's connected there, and there look like a few rectangles, and then a circular screw, right there on the underside. See that? That little circular screw is the potentiometer knob. Different CD players will look slightly different, but they all seem to have a similar thing where you'll see like there's 3 of like rectangular. Here, let me put this down and I'm gonna zoom it in the other way. Sorry, this gets a little bumpy as I bring it in. Okay, so I'm gonna try and point this out. So you have, usually it's gonna look like this. So this is the knob. This is your friend. This is the solution to all your problems. All you're gonna do is you're gonna stick this screwdriver in here, and in my case, I had to turn it to the right. There are other videos where they say there are some cases where you have to turn it to the left. You'll be able to probably identify this because you'll see obviously the knob, and you'll see like these other rectangular things. Usually it's kind of looks structured similar to this. Now, when I did my first 2 attempts on this, because I had watched other YouTube videos, and in all those videos, they were very adamant that when you turn this, you should only turn it a tiny bit. Like they would always draw like take a Sharpie and they draw like a line as showing like where the starting point was, and then they would turn it to the right like the tiniest bit. Like we're talking from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock going clockwise, or from 12 o'clock to 11 o'clock going counterclockwise. And that was always enough for them. But a lot of those videos are from like 7 or 8 years ago, and even more time has passed. So ultimately what ended up doing the trick for me is I was about to give up on this. And my wife's like, well, what's going on? Like, why isn't it working? Like, explain it to me, blah, blah, blah. She was just being nice to me. She was humoring me because she could see I was getting annoyed. And I was like, oh, well, this is where it is. And like, you're supposed to turn this knob. And as I was doing it, I was like, you know what? Screw this. Like, I'm just going to turn it hard to the right. And I did that. And then I closed it up and pressed the play button. And it still did like the click, 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 0, 0. And it failed. It said no disk. But as it was doing it, I could hear it. And it sounded, it was like, it was thinking a little more. Like the clicking sound was less, and the whirring, like the actual spinning of the disc, was going longer. And I got this gut feeling. I was like, wait a minute, like that's sounding more right. Like I just got this feeling that was in the right way. So then what I did is I opened up one more time. I went to this thing and I turned it even more to the right. So probably it was the equivalent of me going from the 12 o'clock position to 6 o'clock. Like personally, it felt like I was doing it way more than what any other video had said I should do. But yeah, so you stick it in here, and then I just turn it to the right. You just put it in there and turn it to the right. This is, by the way, this is the same screwdriver I use to unscrew the screws. So the screws that are holding this thing together, and then they're all just a regular Phillips head. So you can just do it, just turn it to the right a little bit. There were some other videos that had different brands where like they had to use a flat-headed to do this. But anyway, yeah, I just significantly turned to the right, and I was like, you know what, this is it. Like, so then by the way, notice how I'm not actually doing anything else. Like, you just open this up, you stick it in here, and you turn it. I'm not doing it now because I have already fixed this. But that's it. That's how simple this is. And then all you're gonna do is very gently put it back together, right? So this, as you can see, what's cool about this is that it's all just resting on. So this isn't even bolted in. So there you go. So that was it. I just turned that potentiometer knob to the right. There was no other things I had to do with this. But I did fail twice because I didn't turn it enough. Because in all the other videos I saw online, people doing it, they were super cautious and they were and also for them, in their case, I guess maybe because it was less time since when, you know, their CD player was made, and when they made their video, like less time had passed. So I guess the diode that needed to be adjusted, like have the flow to it adjusted, it hadn't like gone as far as mine had, but mine really needed to be turned. I had to like really, you know, turn that potentiometer knob to the clockwise, and then a miracle happened. I'm telling you, I've been blessed with a lot of good things happening in my life, but this was magical. And I'm going to share that with you right now. I'm going to put the batteries in here, and I'm just going to hold my headphones to the camera, so you can hear this. And I'm going to tell you, when I heard the beep of this thing turning on for the first time in a long time and like properly functioning, I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps. Look, see, I'm gonna change the proof here. Beep, makes a beep. 0, 0. Hear it whirring correctly. Oh, see, it's reading 13 songs, and there it goes. It's walking. Now I want you to hear it too. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I'm not sure if this is gonna be really audible, but boop. How awesome is that? I got goosebumps when this thing came back on. I thought the CD player was dead, and it was completely fine all along. I just needed to find the way to do it, and I'm so grateful to my wife for sticking with me and encouraging me to take one more shot at this. I was like, oh man, I guess, you know, maybe I thought that maybe the drive mechanism might have been broken. That, you know, the magical method that was working for everybody else on these things wasn't my case, but it was the same thing for mine. It was just, I had to turn that knob way more than I was comfortable with initially to get to that point. In my case, it was turning it clockwise, but this is the result. This thing's alive again, and it's the coolest thing ever. And this is just on a personal note. I'm gonna share, if you've actually watched this video to this point, if you have one of these CD players, this is definitely worth the journey to do this. Oh my gosh, sorry about that. I just yanked the arm. I have the camera on a support arm, and I just yanked it out. Hold on, there we go. Definitely do this. This repair is actually that easy. Don't be scared to do this. You're not gonna think of it this way. If your CD player is already not working, I mean, you're gonna throw it out anyway. You might as well try to attempt this repair. It really is a miracle repair. It's not a miracle, but this is a spiritual journey. If you've kept your CD player this long, your CD player deserves to come back to life by doing this. And I'm also really grateful to the ability to fix this, and to everyone on YouTube who also put videos like this up, because this CD player was my first in my life. I mean, I'm not that old, but this is my first CD player. This is my first radio that I ever had. And I love this thing. You can see how much I listened to this. I took this on everywhere with me through middle school and high school and college, and I listened to all my favorite songs back then, back when people still listened to CDs. And I used to have this connected to a stereo in my bedroom, and I blasted music, and so many good memories. But this also, and this is the reason I can never throw this out, is I got this in 2000, and I thought I was so cool. I would because this had a radio in it. I would hide this in my backpack and take it to school, thinking I was a cool kid. Oh man, I got a CD Walkman. I'm so bad. And I would listen to it at lunchtime and stuff, or even in class, like if there was study hall or something like that. We're talking back in, was I in fifth or sixth grade? Was it fifth grade? Maybe it was sixth grade, but yeah, I had this. I was hiding. I thought I was so cool, so I'd have this in my backpack and take it to school. And then one day, something was off in school. The teachers were in and out of the classrooms, and kids were suddenly getting pulled out of the class, and nobody understood what was going on. The teachers wouldn't tell anybody what was happening, and it was weird. So then, we got all morning. Things were really strange. They weren't really teaching, and a few kids got pulled out by their parents, and it was recess, and they put everybody, downstairs in our school building. The cafeteria was in the basement, essentially, and I snuck out of the cafeteria and went back up to the classroom, and all the teachers were gone. And I pulled this. I had the CD player in my backpack, and I pulled it out, and I this is an FM AM radio, so I still had the presets in here, and I went to where is it? There you go. AM preset 4, 1010 kilohertz, 1010 wins, radio, New York. And if you were alive back then, you probably know what day I'm referring to now. But I pressed that band button, I pressed it on button, and that was it. I heard about the day the world ended, or the day the last century ended. That day was September 11th, 2001. And I sat there in that classroom holding this CD player by myself, shell-shocked for that recess. And I just listened. And I just listened. And I knew it was over. That was it. That was the end. The day the towers fell. And yeah, this radio I held in my hand, that's where I listened. And then I knew why all those kids were why their parents came to get them, and I was too sad to even cry. And I just sat there and stunned. And I knew but that was the day my childhood ended. And I held this radio in my hand and listened as it happened. And I guess I looked like I had seen a ghost. I walked by. I knew time was coming for the end of recess, so I walked back downstairs and sat back at the lunch table, and my friends at the table. I had such a loss for words. They started asking me what's going on. And then I said, yeah, and I told them what happened, because they had nobody. The rest of us, the teachers weren't telling us. They didn't want everybody to panic, the kids to panic. There wasn't anything anybody could do anyway, because so I told them, and then one of the teachers who was working the lunch duty, they walked by and they heard me telling my friends at the table, and they said, the teacher overheard, and I thought I was gonna be in trouble for having that the CD radio with me in the classroom. The teacher wasn't upset. They just said, you got to wait till you go home. You can't tell anybody else. So that kind of sucked. But yeah. CD Walkman's been through a lot. My first CD, my first Walkman, and my first radio. Well, for listening anyway. So yeah, that was kind of personal thing to share, and not something I really enjoy talking about. But now this is back to life because of this fix. I can keep it. I really am so glad I didn't throw this out. I'm glad I listened to my heart. My heart, when 10 years ago, not to throw this out. And I'm glad that I tried to fix it. And I'm grateful that my wife prodded me to take one more look at it. And hopefully if you watch this video, what's different about this video from any other ones you might watch and repair on this is that when you look at the potentiometer, when you go to tweak it, you may have to turn it more once or twice or even 3 times in the same direction, probably to the clockwise, to the right. It might take a little more oomph to get your CD player running again. But if it does, you'll be happy because they did a good job. Sony made good CD players. And this is proof of it that, it's almost 25 years have passed. And if all it takes is to keep this running is to turn a knob a little bit, we're talking the tiniest amount, then I don't see any reason why this won't keep going longer. It's possible that in the future, if I keep, another 30 years, I might have to go open it up and do this again and turn it another, bit to the right. I guess, all electronics over time, luckily, you saw the board on this. It's not really something that's going to degrade further. But yeah, this technology is both pretty old and still, but luckily new enough that you can bring it back to life with a little bit of trying, and it's worth it. So I hope this was interesting, and I hope if you have just fixed yours as a result of this, you are as excited that you have, your nostalgic thing working again as I am, or if you just picked one of these up secondhand and this video has helped you make it work, and now the piece of junk CD player you bought for 50 cents at the estate sale is working. Good for you, dude. Treat it nice. Not too much longer, and these things will be, well, actually in some places they're already on display as museum pieces, but this sort of early digital technology it keeps kicking. So thanks for listening. If you watch this all the way, again, I thank you so much. Please subscribe if you like this. I have a few other videos of tinkering and doing other stuff. And I wish you all the best. And given, what I heard through that day, I wish you peace of mind and heart, and temperance, and the ability to let other people lead you to be a better person, and not to give in to anger and other things like that, because everyone's lives should be filled with music and good things and friendship and happiness, not sad news, but good things. And that's what I wish to you. All the best.